Hello, welcome. Hi, I'm author and coach Grace Wroldson. Are you in a high conflict custody battle with a narcissist, or are you going to family court? Might you end up in a custody war? This is a training video for my 20 question attorney interview worksheet I created for moms who are having trouble picking an attorney, interviewing attorneys, maximizing their legal consultations to get their burning legal questions answered. And you want to get them answered from an attorney who knows your judge and is practicing family law. So this is a training video so that you can be proactive, get prepared, make sure you have the right lawyer, get legal advice. You can use this guide to help you ask prospective lawyers the right questions. So the questions in my Get the Right Lawyer guide are important and essential. And if you bought this program, you get instant access to the Google Doc, which is updated, that has my full Get the Right Lawyer guide. You will learn my reasoning as to why you need the right lawyer for your custody case against a narcissist. And this is just the 20 question attorney interview worksheet that you can print out and prepare before you talk to these attorneys on phone, on Zoom, in person. This is a handy tool that can save you time and money because you're asking the right questions up front. So being prepared is key. Show up with your guide, with this 20 question worksheet, and be ready to take charge of the consultation because your attorney works for you. You're hiring them. So you're interviewing them for the job. So being ready is important. Knowing what questions to ask can reduce your stress. So read the introduction that goes with this first, or find that video because I did read the whole guide, and it'll help you set the framework up to do the consultations. Don't be stuck without the right legal representation for any family court war that you may be going through or going to. Find out what your options are by getting a few legal consultations. That's my wisdom. Know what questions to ask. I didn't know. Now I know. Take notes of your conversations because if you're emotional, if you are stressed, you're going to forget what was said, how much the retainer was, if they're even available. So you need to take the notes so that you can sleep on it after talking to a few more and make the right decision. And, contrast. Contrast can bring you clarity. So listening to three different lawyers' strategies and approach to your case can help you see which strategy or lawyer's strategy or thoughts really resonate with you. So this is instant access when you buy this online. And if you are willing and ready to learn, I am here to teach and mentor. My background is loving and leaving an alcoholic, and then I found myself in a 12-year custody battle war. I've had 3 different attorneys. So you can look for my books for moms, but just the first disclaimer, this is shared survivor wisdom. Take what's helpful, leave the rest. It's not legal advice. My joke that I say is the only legal advice I give is to go get legal advice. And if you don't like the legal advice your lawyer's giving you, if your lawyer ends up being a narcissist that you didn't recognize or identify when you retain them, it's very, very difficult to be burned at both ends. One, by a narcissistic lawyer billing you the billable hour and using up the whole retainer fee within a month before you even go to a hearing, and having an ex that's a narcissist who won't pay child support. You don't want to be burned at both ends by a narcissist. So maybe think about switching lawyers. I do have a blog on my website. So all the blogs and PDFs and guides are in my 5 books for moms. Here's 4 of them. I say, be willing to learn the lesson and change what you can, and we can learn, heal, and outgrow the narcissist. Start with co-parenting with a narcissist, 7 self-rules to stay sane. Before you move to how to fight a narcissist in family court and win, super smart strategies for success. Then my newest ones, the how to survive a custody battle with a narcissist when the family courts forced you to co-parent, and the newer one, tame the narcissist, 10 keys for better co-parenting to create peace and protection using strategy and skillful means. That has all of my newest things. So I say pick up the books if you want some of these, and you can take notes as you're reading the book, or a couple of them are on Audible. If you don't have time to read and you're driving for an hour, you could be learning and picking up tips, tools, and strategies along the way. So this is my Get the Right Lawyer guide if you're going to family court with a narcissist. So don't be intimidated by talking to lawyers. Don't dismiss the value of a free consultation with a family law lawyer. Also, don't overlook the value of a paid legal consult with a top family law lawyer, especially if you're going up against a narcissist. I created this helpful Get the Right Lawyer guide after talking with thousands of struggling moms. I realized they really needed help interviewing attorneys. They also needed help maximizing their legal consultations to be valuable assets and tools for gaining perspective, knowledge, and insight into their case. When I was going through the family court custody battle, I learned many useful for later things by talking to 5 different attorneys. Each consult gave me new ideas. I understood that different approaches could change the outcome of my case. The only legal advice I give my coaching clients is to get legal advice. And now I say it's wise to get a few narcissistic abuse experts' opinions on your case, especially if you're dealing with a narcissist. It's a smart strategy to get perspectives. Expert opinions can become options later if and when needed. I encourage my clients to do 3 legal consultations at least to contrast and compare. We have to know our options and think about what we want to do in our custody case. And only we can gauge what is best for us and who could best represent us. We make these decisions in our court cases. And only we can make these decisions if we know what our options are. So that's why we do these, our due diligence, as I call it, and we do these interviews pre-planning ahead of time, not like a week before we have to go to court. So, hi, I'm Grace. I'm a mother, survivor, thriver, certified life coach, and the award-winning author of several books, especially my How to Survive a Custody Battle book, because I often see that when getting an attorney, it can deter a narcissist. And I really want to help your custody case. So use my 20 wants list to prepare for the legal questions. Know what it is you want from the judge, what you need ordered from the courts that can be solutions for your case. And I do those consultations with my 20 wants list. So don't delay. Do your legal consultations. And when you're dealing with the narcissist, your knowledge and your preparedness are your power. So obviously take what you like, leave the rest. You can go back to my disclaimer. What worked for me may not work for you. I've seen very few cases where getting a lawyer isn't a good idea. And it's usually they just don't get the lawyer until the last minute, but they've already interviewed attorneys knowing what one they want to go with when it's time for a trial. So I don't recommend going at it alone. So read that whole guide or watch that video. So these questions in my guide, you want to ask if the call is confidential. Usually they run your name through, make sure there's not a conflict of interest. Quite often our custody case is only as good as our attorney. You may have to provide your full name to get the prospective lawyer so that they can search their database and make sure they didn't already consult with your ex. So you want to make sure they pass the bar exam, they have a valid legal license to practice law in your state. I've seen some cases where that's not the case, and they have to provide confidential services and screen for any conflicts. So do your due diligence when you're talking. Know that they have the right licenses and credentials, and they're actively practicing in family court with your judge. And if you read my guide, you'll see why your judge matters. This isn't something usually done by a jury. So the tip is you can also ask lawyers and attorneys you interview, if there are any good local mediators, conciliators, or parenting coordinators, PCs, who are exceptionally good for resolving high conflict cases in mediation and negotiation. I added this tip, so you're listening to the updated version, because boy, this has come in really helpful to avoid legal expenses and family court trials and failures. So this might be helpful in your custody case if you can, if it spans multiple years or keep screaming towards a trial. Finding the name of a PC can be helpful. There are alternatives to fighting on opposite ends, going to multiple time-consuming family court hearings, or repeatedly litigating a case and enduring expensive family court trials. No, there's other options. You can learn about my skillful means method as an alternative. And note, you will need to accumulate leverage. And that's something you can ask in this guide. We're going to go through all 20 questions. There's bonus questions now. So make sure you read that introduction thoroughly to know why you're asking these questions. And remember to get more than one opinion if you've got a complex child custody case. And these consultations can be very insightful. You can print out like 3 to 5 of the guides. And just a disclaimer again, it's only for self-help. I'm not a legal professional, so I can't advise you how to handle your child custody case or child support case. I can't advise you on how to handle the attorney-client relationship either. If you can find other experts and solid guidance and advice in this area or arena, please do so. I always tell moms to get support. This worksheet is what I use to do my interviews, so please take what's helpful, useful, valuable, leave the rest. So this is the 20-question attorney interview worksheet. And I always say, when in doubt, call your lawyer and ask questions. If you don't know what to send as a reply, ask your lawyer. This is why having a lawyer matters to moms being attacked with post-separation abuse, or what I call co-parenting abuse. But it's important that everything you're doing is good for your case and not harming your case. And the only people that would know are family law lawyers who know your judge and have seen what's being used against the protective, loving, caring parent, or where moms are making mistakes. And these are part of the questions. So when you buy the program, you'll see it's like, I don't know how many pages. It's a lot to read, but it's also on video. You'll find links to watch it on video. And then you'll see down at the end of that Google Doc, and we keep it a Google Doc because there's always updates. Family court hopefully is going to get an overhaul and reform. So we want to keep this updated for you. This is my 20-question attorney interview worksheet. So the top question, this is my walkthrough and my training, is the name of the attorney. If you're talking to a few, you want to make sure you got the name, and if they're located near you, and go to that family court. You want the number, put the number that you called here. I can't tell you, organization is sometimes the key to success, or maybe their email if they'll give it to you. And then number 1 is, are you taking or currently taking any new clients? Yes or no? And is this call confidential? Yes or no? First question off the bat. If they say no, I'm full, you don't have to stop there. You can say, when do you think you'd be taking new clients? They might say next year. Call me in 2026. And these cases can go on a long time. So put that in the notes section right here in the corner. So you got the name and you know when they're available. And then if they say yes, are you an experienced family law attorney? If they say, oh, I only do real estate or taxes, you want to circle yes or no. And if they've been a family law attorney, how many years? 1 year, 11 years, 20 years? That's important, because experience is important in high conflict custody cases with a tricky narcissist who will lie, make false accusations, all kinds of things a narcissist will do. And then it will say, you can ask, do you handle high conflict divorce or custody cases? Yes or no. Some people say, oh, if it's high conflict, I don't want it. And they'll stop right there. But if you're doing this worksheet with me, hopefully we can get the drama, trauma, and chaos out of your presentation at these interviews so that you sound more together. You've already done the 20 wants worksheet list. You know what you want, and you're just going to read this. You're not going to go off onto stories and tangents. He did this, he did that. Then, the narcissist this, the narcissist that. So you could ask this question, you could cross it out. But if you're doing this worksheet, which we're going to go through all 3 pages, this should calm you down to make you sound more together and in just an easy client to take on. And then you can ask, if you have the court hearing, my next court hearing or trial is, can you make it? Yes or no. If they look in their calendar, they're like, no, I'm booked that day. You might have to say right in the notes, they're not available that day. If you hire them, they may be able to ask to change the date through the other attorney or through the judge. There's a process of changing dates that they could do, but sometimes the other attorney will say no. Sometimes the judge will say no. So you might need to work on that issue. Number 4, have you gone before Judge so-and-so, yes or no? Do you know the judge, yes or no? Do you have a good relationship with this judge? So this is important. If they say, oh yeah, that judge hates me, you might want to stop right there. You can't imagine how many biased judges who don't like certain lawyers will then kind of punish the person hiring them because they did not like the lawyer representing. It's just, we're dealing with people here and there's biases. So if he or she, this lawyer you're interviewing, says the judge hates me, you might want to stop there. Definitely put whatever they're saying in the notes, because at the end of this, we're going to look at all of it and you're going to have a gut feeling and write down what you think. Then you'll say, if not, have you ever represented clients in your district or family court? Yes or no. How many cases? If they say, oh, I've only done 1 in your district, but I do, 20 in the neighboring district, and you can't go with anyone else, that might factor into your decision. Number 6, are you licensed to practice law in my state and represents clients? Yes or no. And 7, can you take on a new high conflict custody case? If not, why and when could you? Very similar to, do you handle high conflict? Can you take on a new case? If they say, I'm too busy, I lost my paralegal, I'm a one-person show, you might want to just take note of that they're too busy and you've got a case that might need a lot of attention. Optional to ask, what types of cases have you won? Are you familiar with parental alienation, cases, domestic violence, DV cases, or fathers with NPD disorder that are high conflict? If they say, yeah, that's what I specialize in, parental alienation cases, and yours is got that element, that might be good for you. Number 8, you're asking, have you ever gone against your ex's attorney's name, yes or no? I've seen some attorneys get intimidated by other attorneys. I see attorneys that are so powerful they beat everyone else out, but this one attorney, they can't. And you would only know that if you sit through cases in that court district to see who's doing well, following a list, and who's litigating really well. Number 9, if so, have you been successful in getting what the client wants or defending against that attorney? So you're asking about their relationship with the judge, their experience. Then you're asking their relationship with your ex's attorney. And number 10, how responsive are you to clients in crisis or needing legal advice? Do you get back to your clients in a few hours, 24 hours, 2 business days, 3 business days, 1 week, or just too busy? And then do they prefer to get back to you in email or phone? If they say, we get back to you in a week, that might not be enough if you are someone needing instant legal advice because of co-parenting abuse, post-separation abuse. And then the tip, you just want to give the basics of your custody case in the next set, only like 5 short bullet points. A full case history and more details can be given later, because this isn't, you want to dump the whole drama on them. It's a brief interview of them. So it was suggested to me that I not launch into any full story of pain, problems, abuse, trauma, drama, but rather keep it simple. With attorneys, I learned to be more businesslike and less emotional. Don't want to use your lawyer as a therapist. And the attorneys aim to file motions and win cases. They cannot be our therapist nor provide us with constant emotional support. If you got that, wow. It's very rare. And we often need a lot of support pillars in place when dealing with a narcissist. So there's a little do here. Seek some DV counseling or sponsors in 12-step programs like Al-Anon, CODA, ACOA, or get professional therapy for staying sane, being stable, and acting smart. So now here's your 5. These are the things you're just going to tell this lawyer. I have this many children, ages this and this. I was married or not married for how long? Our current agreement, or we have no agreement. Here's 50-50 legal or sole physical. And that last agreement was dated such and such. Then you can say my failures or losses, if that's happening to you. And notice that's all I'm giving. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then number 5, it's what I want. So you got to know this ahead of time. And if you need to sit down and write a comprehensive list of what you want, use my 20 wants question worksheet that you start compiling what it is you want. Supervised visits, you want every other weekend, or you're asking for more time, or whatever it is. 1, 2, 3. And if you need a comprehensive list of what to include in a court order, you can use my What to Put in a Court Order When Dealing with a Narcissist guide. You can buy that separately, or again, all of these are in my books. So if you buy 1 through 5, you'll have all of these, including this updated Get the Right Lawyer guide in book 1 and book 4, and maybe even in book 5. I stuck it in after the fact, realizing you need a strategy when you are interviewing attorneys. You want to maximize these legal consultations. We're on 11 now. How would you approach my custody case? What would be your strategy? So look, I gave them 4 things, the things I want, and now I'm throwing the ball in the lawyer's court. Tell me what they would do. They would say, I'll file a motion for this, I'll file contempt for this, whatever they're going to do. They'll say, I have a standard divorce agreement. I'll send that to you. And if you want to add anything, send it back and I'll try to negotiate it, or whatever their strategy would be. Number 12, what would you need me to document to win my custody case? Should be 3 things, A, B, C. So no shows, or late child support, or late drop, whatever your problems are or what you want, this would be what you would want to know to document. And so you can get this in a free legal consultation. They might be very insightful. And then you can ask, do you think you can win my case, get protections, get a co-parenting app ordered, see yes or no? If they say, no, there's nothing I can do about your case, no way, then you can move on. You can say right in the note what they said to you. So if they say there's too much conflict, there's too much this, there's too much that, there's a point where if you retain a lawyer, you do have to tell them if you've got any skeletons in your closet. You can't go in without realizing the other side's going to attack you. So when you retain an attorney, you're going to want to disclose anything that could be used against you. It's just a smart move. I mean, you could keep it private and secret, but I wouldn't. I've seen moms not prepare their attorney for that, and the attorney is taken off guard and defeated based on some evidence the other side produces. So then number 14, what's your legal retainer fee? And now we're moving on to 15. How much would you guess my case would cost in total for the year? Good question to ask. One time someone said $25,000, but the retainer was only $5,000. That's a good question to ask. And then this is if you're low income. A lot of moms are financially disadvantaged. So if it's applicable, do you take any pro bono clients? Yes or no? Do you offer financial waivers, assistance for low income? Yes or no? Would you be open to an exchange, a barter of services? If you're a massage therapist or a house cleaner, maybe they would. I don't know. If you run a daycare, maybe they would. Other options, if you can't afford this lawyer, ask, would you take my weekly, daily, or monthly phone calls to answer legal questions up until a trial when I could hire you? Could you help me with this just at an hourly rate? Question mark. For example, you can compile your legal questions, like you get 5, and do 1 call per month or bi-weekly, so that you know what it is your rights are, what motions you need to file, what to look out for. There's so much we don't know as moms because we don't have a legal degree and we're not actively working in that system. So, deposing witnesses, rules of submitting evidence, what the judge usually orders for an app, we don't know that unless you're an experienced family law lawyer in that courtroom. And number 19, do you know of any lawyers that would help my case for free? They might say, "Oh, I know someone that helps single moms, call this." So you're just getting to know if there's any resources. 20, do you have any recommendations for other good family law lawyers? They might say, my partner or something. So you're getting as much as you can out of this interview with this attorney. Bonus 21, you can ask your burning legal question now. So if you've got one, put it in. I wouldn't take up too much of their time, but ask enough questions to get clarity. And you can cordially say, thank you for your time. I appreciate the call. And you could say, who do I get back to if I were to go forward to retain you with it? Do you have a paralegal, receptionist that establishes your clients? Now, lawyers without a paralegal or a receptionist sometimes are at a disadvantage with the paperwork. So it's always good that the lawyer has a dedicated, organized paralegal who's watching the mail, because your lawyer gets your court mail. And if you don't know to get there, if their paralegal isn't organized or out sick or whatever, that could be a problem if you don't show up to your court dates. And then you can ask, would you be the attorney representing me? Now, if you do an interview with a law firm and they do this great interview, but then you are assigned a partner that you don't like, you got to know that. And then you might want to ask, who does the legal paperwork and court filings? Is it you or your paralegal? Because some cases the paralegal is all of the legal practice, and the lawyer shows up and does what they're best at. And I think it's okay to specialize, but you'd want to know that, because sometimes a lawyer doesn't always know everything their paralegal does. And then, what's your retaining process for new clients? You can take notes. And this is a great question. Do you know of any good PCs, conciliators, or mediators for high conflict custody cases? And a name. Now, if you ever want to try to avoid the family court or throw some ball in the narcissist court, you can mention this, and that seed might grow, and that might be better and less expensive to have a great parenting coordinator to negotiate, sort things out, mediate with the narcissist. And then do a self check-in here right after, yay or nay, sleep on it. You want to put your reasoning, like why you would go with this person, why they're your first choice, second choice, or whatever. Write down your thoughts, because you might just have so much on your mind you can't possibly remember which attorney you talked to, especially if you do it all in one day. And the bonus questions are to ask, what are 3 things I should be documenting for my child custody case? Very similar to that other one up ahead, but here it is again. Sometimes repetition is really important. Number 2 in the bonus is, what are 2 ways to safeguard my custody case against false PA claims? Narcissists love to do that and try to win sole custody, saying they're alienated from the child. Mothers have to safeguard, make sure the father's being invited some way, somehow. But if there's DV issues, you may not want to be doing this. So this all depends. And what are 3 to 10 things that I can ask the courts and the judge for to support the children? You may not know half of activities fees or clothing allowance, or child care is not included in the child support calculation, because narcissists are selfish and try to get away with not paying or paying very little for their offspring. So you can be proactive and gain leverage by being what I call a non-threat threat to narcissistic supply. And not you. The threat is the agencies, the lawyers, the judge that will hold them accountable. So not us personally and not to them. So the leverage that you want to get is with the narcissist is to have a bunch of leverage, you know, against their supply or their money. And if you are willing to ask the judge to order substantial things and items that the children need, like support for the past, present, and future, this can really benefit you. The idea is a legal strategy and to be done using a lawyer for safety and protection. And to be careful with our custody case and for our personal safety, we don't want to threaten an abusive personality disordered person, the narcissist, directly. We don't want to do that ourselves. Instead, this has to appear like a natural consequence of going to family court and using lawyers, which can make the narcissist more receptive to negotiations, settlements, those PCs, and avoiding trials when they feel there's a threat to expose their bad behavior, or if there's a threat that they feel will hold them financially responsible as a parent and it will be some of their supply. We must be careful that this isn't viewed as coming directly from us, but rather from the lawyers and the court's calculations, or we risk being the target of blame, the TOB. And if you read my books about using skillful means strategies and ways to stop being the TOB, those are in book 4 and book 5. So what are 3 things you can ask for? Child support. Many moms don't. Health insurance coverage by the father. Child care, daycare costs in addition to child support. Half of extracurricular activities reimbursed within 30 days on the co-parenting app portal, expense log. Cell phone payments, going to get it prepaid ahead of in the year. Clothing allowance, car insurance, college tuition, the every other dependent earned income credit or dependent tax credits or holidays. It all depends on your case. So the other new bonus I put in is, do you have a few names of child therapists in the area who can help my child and potentially be an asset to my custody case with a testimonial at a trial? And you can ask for names so that you can be ahead, 1 step ahead, 2 steps ahead, 3 steps ahead of the narcissist. Who is available? You can call these people. Who's available, taking new clients, see if they accept your insurance. You want to get this safeguard and strategy in place to counter any corrupt bias professionals on your custody case, like a paid-for PIC GAL, if you have a wealthy ex-narcissist, or a really bad family court system that is a father's rights with biased GALs. You will need to ask and find out if you can establish your child with a therapist without asking the narcissist, rather just informing him within a certain time frame. You got to check your court order, ask your lawyer how this goes to be safe, or if you need to ask the other co-parent and get his agreement in writing, or if you need to request this to be ordered by the judge because a narcissist won't. So be smart. You might need your child's guidance counselor, teacher, pediatrician, or doctor to recommend individual therapy for the child, so you have a basis for implementing a potentially helpful to the child and helpful to your custody case therapist. So be proactive. Generally, a therapist who's been working with a child individually for years holds a stronger weight than a GAL, believe it or not, who just does the spot check on a child. So sometimes it's important that the therapist be an individual therapist rather than a family therapist with you in the sessions. Ask the lawyer you're consulting with which is better in your case. Also, those therapists that have PhDs and solid credentials with their licenses correct will be more respected in their testimony. Find out what licenses and credentials and training each potential therapist has when you call to find out if they're available taking new clients, if they take your insurance. When you're trying to make the best choice, you've got to look at all of this. So it would be unfortunate to get a therapist on a stand who doesn't have the proper state licensing or credentials to back up their expert professional testimony. So tip, ensure that the therapist is properly credentialed with a valid license before hiring them for your child. And if your consultation did not tell you what you could be documenting, you might want to take my document guide here so that you document strategically. I mean, there's advice out there to document everything, but if it's overwhelming and it's making you not document anything, then maybe you need to pick 1, 2, 3, 5 things that you focus on documenting for your case that are important. And I do coaching sessions to try to identify what they might be. Each case is different. So that's my Get the Right Lawyer Guide, 20 questions. And as you see, there's a lot of questions you can ask in an hour. And I didn't even say, tell them what the narcissist did wrong. Would you want to share that the narcissist is in contempt of something? Yeah. You could say he's in contempt of the court order for this, this, and this, but not that he has a girlfriend or all this stuff about the narcissist. It makes you sound focused on the other parent. Would you want to say your child has special needs? Is it an IEP? You could say that. So your choice to add that question if you have any of those, if you think it's helpful, but long stories usually aren't. So empower yourself and get some solid legal representation, or at least those paid or free legal consultations. And I do have 11 video co-parenting course that can help you look for weaknesses in your case. We do appear weak to the narcissist when we're not properly represented. And we want to appear like neutral but strong. Come to my website. You can read some of my free blogs. Remember to like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. I teach the skillful means method and strategy and the gray walling method. This is the 20 you want. You can buy it just by itself, or it's in all 5 of my books. It's in one of them, I think the 4th one. And how to prepare for family court. I have a whole guide also on that. So there'll be more training videos on how to prepare for family court, and that'll be happening in 2025. We'll be launching a whole different training videos on different specific topics. So thank you for watching. If you want, you can sign up to my free podcast, Spotify, Navigate the Narcissist when co-parenting or in a custody battle. You can pick up that 11 video co-parenting course because sometimes they'll use legal abuse as part of their post-separation abuse tactic on a target of blame. You're going to need strategies, lots of strategies when dealing with a narcissist. So think strategically. There's a video on my YouTube channel for free that talks about thinking strategically and all the different strategies you need to simultaneously put in place. So this strategy was how to prepare with that guide. I always say expect the unexpected and know it can be stressful. A narcissist backed into a corner will lie, project, finger point, blame, all kinds of things. So having a lawyer can help you even if you think the narcissist doesn't have a chance in family court. You could be surprised that the judges may favor parent rights over child protection or child abuse and neglect prevention. So family courts have failed many a mom, and I say don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Don't say all family court is bad. Some of us won supervised exchanges, supervised visits for a period of time, court-ordered child support. So there's so many things that family court can offer you, but they also can fail. And family court failed me a few times, and I had to go back and win my rights back. So look for my new nonprofit because I'm going to put child safety first. If the courts aren't, I'm going to push for awareness. It's for concerned mothers in a custody battle with a narcissist. So my mission is to support and bolster motivated, protective, loving mothers. Because I believe that an ounce of prevention, child abuse, neglect, and prevention is better than trying to heal from narcissistic abuse and all the pain. And That'll be the nonprofit that I put forward, and hopefully we can make a difference in the moms who are facing family court and can't afford a coaching service, in coach or any of these programs or trainings. So use some of my tips. Come to my Facebook groups for moms, and you'll get my daily tips, or on my Instagram. Like, I'll come up with something like the 3Ds to discuss it with your coach or mentor, document it, and detach, because a narcissist typically wins by emotionally destabilizing the target, which means we've got to maintain our sanity. Come over to my website, find my free newsletter for moms called Navigate the Narcissist, because we need to navigate around and neutralize and disarm and lower the drama, not be part of the high conflict. You can get my free tips, tools, and strategies, and the free email newsletter just by signing up on Substack. You can get the free version or pay a little bit towards me as a writer. So this was Get the Right Lawyer, 20-question attorney interview worksheet for moms dealing with a narcissist in a family court battle. This is only available to those who bought the 20 that bought the Get the Right Lawyer guide. So you get this 20-question attorney interview worksheet in that guide or in the books that have that as a bonus chapter. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. And in the comments, if it's safe for you to do so, please write down what was the most eye-opening part of this video, this guide, or question. Hopefully you take this as a training, and pick up my new book, because we want to focus on our children, and getting a lawyer can help us do that. And the Tame the Narcissist book is on Amazon. You can learn strategies, gain skills. Thank you so much for watching.